Hi, my name's Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video. The other day someone wrote to me and asked me how to keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship, and I thought I'd make this video. I must confess that I am no expert in long-term relationships. In fact, it's not something that I've ever desired enough to actually try and have in my life. I think if you really want something enough, then I think you can most of times manifest it. But for me, in all the years I've been practicing law of attraction or writing down lists of things that I really want to manifest, having a long-term relationship has never ever been on the list, and nor has motherhood. That might be another video. But so I don't think I'm an expert at all, but I do believe that having a long-term relationship is incredibly hard work. And I think there are phases in relationships. I mean, in my relationships that I've had, for example, there have been times when I've been more into the other person and then they've been more into me. It's always been back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes it's been equal. And there are some times with there's lots of passion, other times not so much passion, and that could be because of several factors, stress, for example, and then it might come back again, the passion, or perhaps sometimes there's a lot of passion at the beginning irrespective of what stress is going on, and just over time it kind of dissipates. But for me, I just, I don't know, call me selfish, but I really value my own individuality too much perhaps, or to actually desire building a life with someone else. Well, that's how it's been so far. No one has actually come into my life to challenge that way of thinking for me. And for me, I think would be very difficult for me in a long-term relationship, for example, even though I'm a very sexual person, I wouldn't like the idea that my body is kind of, I don't know, have to provide sex to the other person, and that's part of our relationship, and if I don't, they're gonna have sex with someone else. I just find all of that very confusing. I don't really know how I perceive monogamy or polyamory or all of these things. I have no idea actually, and I haven't been in a situation that's actually made me think, or if I don't know. I think it's a bit complicated. So yeah, because I prefer to have my body for me kind of thing, and then sometimes I'll share it with someone else. But I think in a relationship, I mean, I've spent Christmas with a lot of women who've just become recently divorced, and they never thought of their pelvic area as being an area that they could indulge in for their own personal pleasure. It's always been, let's say, something that they would enjoy with their husbands, or it was the birth canal with their children, but it's never been something just for them. And for me, it's all about me, I think. So I don't know, keeping the spark alive. I think first of all, you have to want to keep the spark alive. That's really important. And rather than trying to maintain some kind of hot sex rhythm throughout a relationship, which I think is pretty much impossible, I think it's more important to maintain intimacy and closeness and hugs and kisses and that type of thing, and perhaps massages, and vary it a lot as well, and not just have this kind of, you know, sometimes when couples kind of fall into the comfortable position or the comfortable things that always work, I think you should break out of that comfort zone and do different things. But even a routine of regular sex can be boring, and I recently wrote an article about how I think regular sex is really boring, and that's something that's a kind of a danger in a long-term relationship. I think different people have different expectations of how often you should be having sex, and I don't think it's about, you know, some people say 3 times a week, and I think for me, I think 3 times a week seems quite a lot. I would just rather maybe have less and then vary it with other intimate things which don't involve, could be more sensual than sexual, let's say. Yeah, very complicated. And also over your life, different things you can evolve sexually, and sometimes, for example, something that turns you on at the beginning of a relationship, you might discover new things throughout the relationship, or you might not like what you liked before. And that's happened to me in my own life. Even over the last 10 years, even the time I've been blogging about sex, it's really interesting. For example, when I first started blogging about sex, in my personal life, I was going through a very sapphic phase. I was discovering women, but I was writing about BDSM with men, right, dominating men. And then I've kind of gone back into a more heterosexual phase. And then now I would say I was more fluid, and I've had some more kind of intimate relationships that have really surprised me. And they've been quite zen and maybe tantric and spiritual and sacred. So for me now, ever since I've become spiritual, I just don't have any desire to kind of experiment with BDSM anymore. So I think if I'd been in a relationship all throughout these 10 years with one person, it would have been difficult to kind of evolve at the same pace with someone else, I think. And as I said, I haven't wanted it enough to actually even try and make it happen. So for me, I'm just all about working on myself as an individual, emotionally, sexually, and I just believe that someone will come into the horizon if and when it's necessary. So yeah, I don't know if that really answers the question, but how to keep the spark alive. Yeah, open mind, communication, desire, intimacy. Yeah. And yeah, I hope this you find this insightful. And if you have any further tips about how to keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship, then please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions for new videos, then please don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusohara.org, or you can add me on Instagram at venusohara. Thanks for watching.